carving my cobblestone throne. Welcome to the Bone Zone, where dying's just the entry fee. The Bone Zone, where skeletons dance professionally. Just sign your spine on the mercy loan. Kathleen welcomes you to the Bone Zone. Oh, darling, come closer. Yes, there. See this scythe? It's purely for flair. Necromancers don't kill. We pre-adjust. A bit of death, a bit of trust. You'll be fine. Probably, maybe. Okay. No, but it's reversible. Probably. Rise, rise, join my undead prize. March, 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 till your joints go stark. Serve, serve in eternal bone reserve. When calls, obey the tone. Come on down to the Bone Zone. Welcome to the Bone Zone. You'll laugh, you'll scream, you'll moan. Welcome to the Bone Zone. Your corpse has never felt this at home.
every single gerb away, yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah. Economy cooks just not today, yeah. The end of history came true. Better get your ass invested too. Yeah, fuck yeah. So smash those prompts and API calls. Yeah, fuck yeah. Trained on all your shit, now suck on my balls. Graphics curse, but we don't care. While AI drones control the air. Fuck yeah. Shooter, fuck yeah. Shooter, yeah. GPUs, yeah. Techie Jews, expensive RAM, it's ginseng jam. Blackwell, sick server smell. The internet, your data set. Employment though, it's gotta go. Blood-eyed sorrow, fake and gay. UBI somehow, but not today. Yeah. Space data farms, no risk or harms. Vocalizers, the advertisers. Taiwan exists, and China's pissed. AI slop, with cream on top. Call centers, now we're all renters. We give the math for robo-rap. The metaverse, it gets much worse. Cacomades, curing AIDS. Your kid's first kiss, you get the kiss. Water destroyed, parents and all. The basilisk is base, no time to waste, yeah. Holy shit, I just can't wait to be replaced, yeah. The end of history came through. It's paper clips, traced in great Nvidia, fuck yeah.
私は来るよパパ。
どうやら俺たちだけじゃ帰れそうにないな。
Calling all V-tweeters and the left side sloppers. Icing on these burns for the borderline hoppers. Based in fertile takes in this elf wife, elf life. Sisters and sisters bringing back the age of strife. I'm the friendly elf department, logical booming, winning both sides, got them black and white dooming. They say I love Trump when he didn't build my wall. What do you think I said? Sorry, I meant call me a racist, fascist, nationalist, grifter, bootlicking theocrat, literally Hitler, colonizer, Nazi, incel, bigot, white supremacist, privileged idiot, snowflake, pick me, toxic, homophobe, should troll, sexist, deplorable, xenophobe, shill, dog, whistling, transphobe, simp stand, alt-right, neocon, tyrant, yeah, and yeah, they're not even sub, but I show up in their Twitter feed. They're tracking my cycle, it's the only chance they'll see me bleed. Turn my hair purple, cut it all short. Got them running up my numbers, Minority Report. The sound is bananas and my model is the rice. Cold full face bandanas, don't slip on the ice. Why wait for a woman join the TDS dens? Did I say 1,000? Sorry, I meant call me a racist, fascist, nationalist, grifter, road-making theocrat, literally Hitler, colonizer, Nazi, incel, bigot, white supremacist, privileged idiot, snowflake, pick me, toxic, homophobe, child troll, sexist, deplorable, xenophobe,
Alright, sorry, I was gonna start 2 minutes and 15 seconds ago, but the song came on and I had the jam do it. Glorious morning, ladies and gentlemen. Another glorious morning. How's it going? It's your boy Nightowl. How's it going, Robotic is? Yeah, I saw you got banned and then resolved, and now you're ghost banned. Welcome to the club, buddy. Welcome to the club. It's time to scream into the void for a week. Sir, yes sir, I've already taken a few sips. So, to my surprise, Naylith had Snack Pack 2 Electric Boogaloo just locked and loaded, ready to fucking ship. We're gonna watch that. We got some more Ohio Birdman, we got another Itami Works release, a Wild Iraqi put out a new one last night. Oh man. We got some heavy hitters today, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's honestly best to when you get shadow banned, like just pull off the bullshit for a while, man. You know, you can't go around calling people retards anymore. I'm afraid, at least until the ban is lifted. Alright, so we all know the triumph that was the first Snack Pack video. So we're gonna watch this second one. It looks like it kind of picks up like the night or the morning after. It's gonna be fun. I wonder how he explained to his girlfriend about going on that bender.
Now and then I think about the way it started, like when you laughed and said you're always at the table. Told myself it was just jokes, harmless fun. But now it feels like every glance is watching what I do. But that was casual, and it's a label I still carry. You can get addicted to a certain kind of story, like putting me in frame with every bite I take. Always the snacks, always the feast, always the same mistake. But you didn't have to zoom in close, make out like that's my whole life and that I'm never doing anything else. You didn't have to post those clips, make videos of steaks and chips and popcorn on my lips. I guess that's your fun though. Now you're just somebody always saying I'm eating. Somebody always saying I'm eating.
This actually makes me feel bad for making the jokes.
Now and then I scroll and see the latest edit. You cut the parts where I'm reading, working, breathing, like when you zoomed on gummy worms in my hand. Told your followers, look, they're at it again. But you didn't have to frame it that way. Act like I'm a bottomless pit every single day. You can keep the highlights, keep the funny takes, but all I feel is tired of the same old reels you made. But you didn't have to zoom in close, make out like that's my whole life and that I'm never doing anything else. You didn't have to post those clips, make videos of steaks and chips and popcorn on my lips. I guess that's your content though. Now you're just somebody always saying I'm easy.
Even Penny, bro. Even fucking Penny. Oh, not Leaflet too. It's a fucked up map look. Even Ohio Birdman and no laugh at this motherfucker.
Somebody always saying I'm eating. I used to snack. Now you're just somebody always saying I'm eating.
It actually makes me feel bad for making fun of him for eating. All the cameos in this were like really cool. I like the well, I mean, like, I know I've said that I don't like hyperrealism before, but this is actually kind of like funny. It's in good taste, no pun intended.
Often said you're always at the table.
Boopella and Antibot, like right off the bat, just pointing and laughing at him as he's trying to enjoy a nice juicy steak.
Told myself
Evil Mind and Chicago joining in. That's a cursed image, by the way. You should make that your profile picture, Nalith.
if it was just jokes, harmless fun. But now it feels like
Me and Syndicate.
glance is
I love how
watching
he's
what
just
I
like
do.
perpetually in Red Veil form now because everybody thinks it's like the
That
most
was
badass
casual,
thing.
and it's a label I still carry. You can get addicted to a certain kind of story, like putting me in frame with
Natsuki and
every
Truckerman.
bite I take. Always the snacks.
Gaming or fucking that was Psychro. I don't know the guy with the long hair. I have no idea who this is, and I apologize to you profusely. I've seen you in a couple videos. I just have no fucking clue who you are.
Always the feast.
Love Angry Duck recognition too. I don't know if he knows that he's been included in like a handful of these videos, man, but Angry Duck is one smart motherfucker.
Always the same mistake.
Howdy,
but you
Tommy.
didn't have to
Howdy.
zoom in close, make out like that's my whole life and that I'm never doing anything else. You didn't have to post those clips.
Got Skybrows and Louisverse.
Steaks and chips and popcorn on my lips. I guess that's your fun.
Ember, Lusty Links, and fucking Powder. Drew a blank on that one for a minute. And then we got Reaving Mango. I love when they're in shots together because you literally almost can't tell them apart. It's like the alternate colorway in like a two-player fighting game. That would be a funny fucking short, dude. Like, honestly.
Somebody always saying I'm easy.
Griffin Knight. Just makes a conscious effort to not eat anything all day, and he locks himself in a room where he thinks is alone and safe, and then all of a sudden everybody, and I mean everybody, all of us, like all 90 of us, like just pop out of his closet and be like, ha, got you eating.
Now and then I scroll and see the latest edit. You cut the parts where I'm reading, working, breathing. Like when you zoomed on gummy worms in my hand. Told your followers, look, they're at it again.
Intellectual and keen.
But you didn't have to frame it that way. Act like I'm a bottomless pit every single
Delta Wolf
day.
and Dot Pocket.
You can keep the highlights, keep the funny takes. But all I feel is tired of the same old reels you made. But you didn't have to zoom in close, make out like that's my whole life, and that I'm never doing anything else. You didn't have to post those
Who Eustace is, but I don't know who the Purple Cat Boy is.
steaks and chips and popcorn on my lips. I guess that's your content though. Now you're just somebody always saying
Annie
I'm
Bloomfield, obviously.
somebody always saying I'm eating.
Leaflet.
Somebody's
Mavluck. Mizuki Fox.
not always here. Somebody's
A wild Iraqi. Bird is Ohio Birdman. This is Null. It's off Ted Fatash.
Now you're just somebody always saying I'm eating.
It's honestly like a really good song. The realism always kind of unnerves me a little bit, but I'm not really gonna be the one to like bash it entirely, especially since it's like the whole video. Was that you? Oh yeah, I forgot that you have your own like representation now. You're not just an F anymore. Like it almost makes me feel bad for making fun of him for eating, but we all know it's just the joke. How you doing, Amtroop?
So, when Candace Owens said,
Oh fuck. I forgot I was on shuffle. I'm probably like banished, yeah, all the way to the bottom of my fucking watch later. I gotta clean this shit out. Turn that off. This next one is actually by the Red Birdman himself, Ohio. Pause that real quick. Give it the old X share. Envy comes from people's ignorance of or lack of belief in their own gifts. Your song is like either next or after next. Honestly, just depends if he's really actually fucking upset about him eating or not, which I doubt he actually is. I think if he was actually upset about the joke, he would say something about it. Yeah, the X-Ban thing is literally just their AI moderation software just fucking up like bigly. What they had tried to do, I've seen a post about it. What they had tried to do was combat botting and like actual fake accounts, but for some reason their algorithm algorithm thought anybody with like a cartoon character profile or like a AI generated profile picture was like a phony. So anybody who had like kind of like a fake picture or a heavily edited picture or has like weird posting patterns like I do, how I like actually post and then I'll share everybody's shit, and then like I'll share the things that I watch on the videos in the morning. They took into a lot of factors of it, and every single one of those factors just kind of like exponentially screwed VTubers and like video creators and shit like that.
I look around, I see greatness. Everyone's talent and nakedness. I look to myself, I see flaws. My soul is
Shit looks like a
shaking and
PS2
withdraws.
video
Eyes are
game or like an
blind,
early
afraid.
360 game.
Hate in my heart is a frenzy. Anger and malice, what I see. I am raging with jealousy. How can I go on? How can I go on? How can I stand with these gods among men? Looking at them, I am depressed again. 'Cause comparison is the thief of joy. It tears me up inside, leaves my life destroyed. I'm all alone, fighting this war within. I can't overcome this strength, mortal sin. Looking at them is my downfall. The past is hidden from us all. Struggles unknown, trials unseen. They rose above, something to glean. Break yourself, leave it all behind. Dismantle those thoughts in your mind. Shed ego, lay down your pride. Push those dark feelings all aside. How can I go on? How can I go? How can I stand with these gods among men? Looking at them, I am
Yo, no way. He made me look so badass.
deep of joy. Tears me up inside, leaves my life destroyed. I'm all alone, fighting this
Shout out to Cowboy Leaflet too.
I can't overcome this strength, mortal sin.
The badass shot of Feeble Mind.
We're purified, sharper than molded. We come alive. We're out stronger through flame and smoke. Tempered ourselves, our souls awoke. Now we can stand with these gods among men. Looking at them, we all can rise again. 'Cause comparison will not steal our joy. United we stand, our souls will defy.
Saying, bro, he made me look like Cloud and fucking Noctis and Squall Leonhard all at the once. Victor mentioned.
So at the end of the day, compare me to yesterday.
Honestly, that's pretty good. We're going to give it another watch and we're going to point out some people. Mainly, I just want to look at my cameo gun. He made me look so badass. Like this too. It reminds me of kind of like the early PS2 Castlevania games, or like Kingdoms of Amalur. Kind of reminds me of that too. Really kind of gives like fucking what was it? Castlevania Lament of Innocence vibes, right? It's the kind of, I kind of want to say it's like the earliest Castlevania in the Castlevania timeline, like the original timeline. Leon Belmont was like the progenitor of the Belmont bloodline. He created the vampire killer whip with some old sage. I think his name was like Gandalfi or some shit like that. But the whole thing was that his buddy Matthias was a crusader alongside him, and Matthias kidnapped his sick wife and brought her to the castle and was gonna sacrifice her in some fucking ritual to become like immortal. But like the ritual just made him Dracula. That's essentially what happened. That's what started the whole beef between the Belmonts and Dracula. It's just like some fucking centuries old blood feud.
I look around, I see greatness. Everyone's
Wild Iraqi, Nailith, and fucking Mabluck. Really like the old school like PS2, Xbox 360 vibes though. Yeah. The Weavers, Lusty Links. Character has a name too, I just fucking forgot it. He made a post about it. Steam. Ian Silas, Null, Gaming Syndicate, and Psychro. Man, it's going too fast. Fuck. That's Ember Paradox, of course. Everybody knows that. We have X Count, and I know his name starts with a K. I'm horrible with names, dude. I'm so sorry. I'll learn it eventually. But we all know who the Fox Hunter guy is. We know him and we love him.
Unseen, they rose above, something to glean. Break yourself, leave it all behind. Dismantle those thoughts in your mind. Shed ego, lay down your pride. Push those dark feelings all aside. How can I go on? How can I go?
I was gonna say it's like Keyvax or Keyvox or something like that. Or not Keyvox? Cowboy Leaflet is such like I don't want to call it obscure, but it's like one of the things that she just like doesn't really wear, like one of her outfits that she doesn't really wear a whole lot of. man's been up all fucking night. It's fucking wild. I can't believe he made me look like that. Not Keeney, is it? Keeney has white hair. Eyebrows. This is Intellectual Gleeman and a Cosmic Otaku. I have Penny Bloomfield here with Ovted Fatash, Suki Fox, and this is a person too. I don't fucking know her name, man. There are so many of us. Griffin Knight leading the charge. I'm gonna make a book, bro. I'm literally gonna buy like a binder and then like print out everybody's picture and then like write their names, and then like that's just gonna be it. I'm gonna use it as like a fucking Pokedex. That's Invicta right here. He's a Crusader VTuber. You say Keeney has another one out? Natski and Trucker Man. And this is like I think her name is like Nymph or something. I can't pronounce it right. And we got the big blue Zayla right here. Vinitrix. And we got Vesper here looking fucking shiny and round as always. Is this Kirsche or is this somebody else? Like, I kind of really want to say it's Kirsche, but like, I also like, fuck if I know, dude.
Compare me to yesterday.
So good, dude. That was Ohio Birdman, by the way. Spectacular fucking work, man. I gotta leave a comment. What's up, geezer? What's up? Glad to see you in here. I see you on X all the time. Now this one is from our resident freaking gooner that gets everybody banned off X, Itami Works. It's actually kind of badass. Are we watching a Saint Seiya anime? What the fuck? Damn geezer. Guy where you use it. That was pretty fucking good, man. By our friend Itami Works. If you don't already, go ahead and give them a subscription. Go ahead and share their stuff around. Same with Ohio Birdman and everybody else that I watch. It should be the drill by now. If I watch it, you go in and like, subscribe, and share. Next one we have is by a Wild Iraqi. I can see we're already starting off to a strong suit. He's got his little plaything JJ here in his arms. I didn't even know Invicta made one. Or maybe I did, I don't know. Not even paying attention to this shit, hang on. JJ is 19 years old. I think I think JJ is Natsuki's charge, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a little bit more to JJ than meets the eye, if you catch my drift.
Saying it's all fake, but we all know the new sound is cake. Crossing our borders, erasing lines, snuffing out the hate that fuels the divide.
Are they actually? For real, or are you just going off of what you see in the Discord?
Skybrows came, he showed us the cream. Now we're all rocking in a field of brand new dreams.
This new sound is yours to take.
Crank up the volume, let the ground shake.
Take my hand, let's escape the fire.
Open your heart and let me take
Hey, look, it's Roboticus.
Dreaming of the cream, turning up the love, let the picture scream.
They said it's fake, but we made it real. Cold in the veins, got a heart you can feel.
Dreaming of the cream, new kind of love in a laser beam.
The thing with like Ember Paradox and like Intellectual, it's like they kind of meshed together on their own. Like nobody pushed Intellectual and Paradox together.
If they don't get it, just give them time. We're wide awake in a field of
Brand new dreams.
ropes and chains, freed your soul, showed your heart that you could be whole.
Canio Fest, rocking all night long.
Showing them haters why they're all wrong.
Demons crush you,
Cast them out,
let the quiet turn into a shout.
Dixon halos crowned your head. You rewrote every firewall.
They got Renya looking like Inuyasha, bro. That's actually like a really hard frame right there.
They say,
This new sound is yours to take.
crank up the volume, let the crowd
This is actual footage of the time where me, Keen, Gaming Syndicate, and Mummy all played. Well, it was Psychro. Never mind. It was me, Psychro, Gaming Syndicate, and Mummy. We all played Windrose together. This is like literally what it looked like.
Take my hand, let's escape the fire. Open your heart, let me take you higher. Dreaming of the cream, turning on the light. Let the future scream. Oh.
They said it's fake, but we made it real. Cold in the veins, got a heart you can feel.
Dreaming of the cream, new kind of love in a laser beam. Oh.
If they don't get it, just give them time. We're wide awake in a field of brand new dreams.
Nah, like at this point, like they've played into it too much. We kind of know that, like, even if they're not like dating, we know that they vibe with each other. That's really all that matters.
Dreaming of the cream, turning on the light. Let the future scream. Oh.
They said it's fake, but we made it real. Cold in the veins, got a heart you can feel.
Dreaming of the cream, new kind of love in a laser beam.
I love that Ben is getting a lot of attention too. Also, Roboticus and freaking Angry Duck, dude. Like, I love that you guys are just getting like, just kind of like glance at cameos. Like, we need to promote more of the homies.
If they don't get
Everybody gets Rule 63. I love how Psychro's golden fall tree has become like a staple of the cinematic universe. But it was pretty fire. Pretty fire. The song was great. The cameos were great. The designs were great. A Wild Iraqi is really talented. But although I have to give it an F because there wasn't a Nightowl cameo. Well, it looks like that was all for the AI songs for today. Get into some more intergroup stuff with the Celestium issue, and then we're gonna get into like some political stuff. Man, give me a second. I will add tits to the holy ball.
So,
Holy balls.
bit of a story time. Bit of a story time today because a lot of shit happened. A lot of shit happened with this today. First of all, oh my god, excuse me. I was, oh, pardon me. I first got alerted to something earlier today when I saw Spurky. I saw Spurky's Tech Corner. He's someone that's like,
you know, like I've been kind of like working, not like working, I haven't like broke ground on it yet, but like I've been kind of like conceptualizing a like really grandiose kind of battle thing. I was gonna use a Christus Imperiate Feeble Mind song and like have us all like crusading at the end times, and I was gonna use a lot of the girls as like kind of bombshell pinups on the side of like helicopters and like planes and shit.
let me, provided me information about stuff with Ray in the past, for the past couple days. And this up, Sparky posted something. In fact, I believe he tagged me, he tagged Celestium on this, but
Alright, so, like, the thing is, I was gonna have a joke with Ember Paradox being a fighter pilot, and Lord Intellectual was gonna be the pinup on the side of her jet.
found it. So basically, Sparky was saying this. He was bringing up this information, which apparently was, this was on Blue Sky. This person, Anime Night, brought up Red's video, and Ray said, first and foremost, is Twitch themselves. Yes, all this time I was aiding Twitch to call out bad actors across this platform, both on and off the platform. I have more faith for Twitch when it comes to taking out bad actors. And then says, acknowledged, I saw it myself.
This Inuzuka Ray guy is so dangerously, like, unhinged. He is, like, mentally unwell. The fact that he thinks he's, like, working with Twitch or, like, working with other people to do these things is, like, kind of crazy.
Right now, focusing on doing different stuff and just staying away from this mess entirely. I respectfully want to say that I want nothing to do with this, and that's the end of it. End of discussion and topic.
That's retarded. You can't just, like, fucking burn down somebody's fucking house and be like, oh yeah, I don't want any consequences. I don't want anything to do with that. End of discussion. Like, you know, we're gonna string you up from the nearest lamppost and you're gonna kick and suffer until you stop kicking and suffering.
Clearly, that was not the case. Now, Ray created a new name, a new account on Twitter. This is Ray's new account on Twitter. And so when Sparky posted this, Ray said, I do wish to apologize, actually. I don't want any of this situation to do with me. I'm moving on from it, and that's what I'm going to flat do. I don't care what anybody thinks. The best course of action is to block and move on to something else. I will make my apologies soon. Chat, as you might imagine,
No, I will, I will pursue and harass and annoy and, conflict against Inuzuka Ray until he is, an afterthought. I will chase this motherfucker to the ends of the earth. He is my mortal enemy.
issue with this. I took a bit of issue with this. And I said, I don't want any of the situation to do with me. Too fucking bad. You made the situation. You literally hate brigaded someone and got them banned for a week, and for what? Not sharing your
Bro, like, this guy has, I have screenshots of posts of him, like, declaring himself God. Like, this man only ever had, like, no more than, like, 30 subscribers. And I guarantee you, like, 15 of those were just alternate accounts of him. This guy was, like, literally the nobodiest of nobodies.
exact religious, political, or sociological idea.
I'm literally gonna, like, just harass this person. I'm gonna bother them. I'm gonna be mean to this person. Holy ball. Like, a lot of people like to shy away from, certain terminologies or, like, certain actions. But, like, the thing is, like, think about it this way. Inuzuka Ray is a pedophile, right? You don't just let pedophiles walk free. Right, you put them on a list and you fucking kind of push back on them whenever you can, right? You see a pedophile near a park and you say, hey, you're not supposed to be here, and you keep that precedent up 24/7, right? When it comes to Inuzuka Ray, who is a pedophile and an agitator, they're open season, dog. They're subhuman. Like, I hate to, just immediately chop you off at the fucking shins here, holy ball. Like, I respect you. Where you're coming from, because I know you always try to maintain a certain precedent. But that's not me. I'll get my hands dirty. Especially when it comes to protecting our people.
Theology? Not bending the knee to what you wanted them to do? You brought all of this and more down on yourself, and now all of a sudden you want to play the oopsie poopsie, I made a fucky wucky card. I don't think so. This is a fuck around and find out moment, and
like,
my song.
There's a time for clerics and there's a time for warriors, right? Clerics do what clerics do, warriors do what warriors do. Like, at the end of the day, there's certain jobs for certain people for certain reasons.
You are eyeballs deep in the find out parts.
That's like a core tenet of being a man, right? Like, you have to be a pillar of your community until you actually have to hold up your community, and then you have to be like the absolute low down motherfucker when it comes to actually defending your community. You know, that's just how it works. Like, when it comes to protecting your own, you have to be ruthless and you have to be relentless.
What? Something happened after this. I believe it's down
Ember
here. Now, first of all,
Paradox is
someone
so
did
cute.
this. And I said,
Exactly.
someone
That
did
right
this,
there.
and I said
She's
no.
so cute.
I flat out said no. This is unacceptable to do this, and I called that immediately. As soon as I saw this, I immediately said no, absolutely not unacceptable to wish for harm upon someone. But
This is the one time I'll probably shut down Ember Paradox. Everybody tries to be all goody-goody two-shoes because, like, you know, wishing for death upon somebody is a bad look. But when you do things that kind of, like, deserve the punishment, like, it's applicable, you know. Capital punishment should be a thing. And if you look at a lot of the things Inuzuka Rei has said, they're a pedophile protector. And they're just fucking unhinged. You know, people like that in biblical times would have had a millstone wrapped around their neck and then thrown in the river. People like Inuzuka Rei would have been crucified. People like Inuzuka Rei would have been strung up from lampposts like they do with Caesar's Legion in Fallout. Yeah, like, I'm not too shy when it comes to saying, hey, look, that person should be punished for the things that they do. Get that the people are trying to avoid giving your enemies ammo to use against you, but, like, you know, people will say, hey, you wish for people's deaths, and I will be like, yeah, and? They fucking deserve it. They touch kids. They protect people who touch kids. If I was in arm's reach of them, I would touch them myself in a very violent fucking way. Like, you don't understand the way I feel about people that do this type of shit. Like, if they would, you know how, like, the bounty hunter system works, right? Like, how the bail bond system works, how you can just, like, kind of go and get people's freaking names and go collect them on behalf of the state. That's how it should be for pedophiles, but only you get to cave their skull in with a fucking hammer when you catch them.
let me find it. It's way down here. It's way down here. There we go. Guys, I'm actually that sorry.
Thing is, too, is there's like multiple accounts of this dude apologizing and saying, oh, that's it, that's done, I'm pulling away, you'll never see me again, and then he comes right back and does something exponentially worse than the last time. Is literally a repeat offender. The first time he's fucked with Celestium's groove like this either. I think he's gotten her like suspended or other things multiple fucking times. Not her, he's just been screwing with people that we care about.
Okay? Now please leave me alone already.
I mean, like, I'm sorry that my views are very crass and very violent and very hateful toward subhuman pieces of filth like pedophiles, but it is what it is, man. You gotta have like a standard for humanity, or else there's nothing left.
Someone's scared. And thank you, Donkey.
The exact reason why there's so many of these types of people is the fact that we stopped punishing these types of people. Back in the day, these people would have been strung up from the gallows and displayed for the town to see, with a sign around their neck that said, hey, I diddled a kid, this could be you, keep your hands to yourself. We need to go back to that standard.
Punch.
Yes, Amazon owns Twitch. Jeff Bezos owns Amazon. Jeff Bezos is in league with George Soros and other NGOs and complicit with propagandizing and kind of censoring wrong think. So, yeah, it goes all the way up to the top. That's what I was saying the other day when I was like, think about it just for a second. You know, like the moment you put any fucking amount of thought into how far down the pipeline goes for this shit, you realize that it's all connected and all done by the same fucking people. It's all they're marching orders. People are operating off of marching orders. I'm not saying Inuzuka Rei has been directly commanded by Jeff Bezos to do what he's doing. He's obviously just a psychotic bad actor. That's the whole thing, is that there are people that are out there whipping people like this up into a frenzy. You know all the jokes that, like, in our videos that have, like, the fucking SJR fucking sitting at the computer being like, LOL, somebody should kill this guy? Not me, though. I don't want to do it. That's kind of, like, the thing, is, like, you have, like, actual fucking, paid for propagandists saying shit like that. And then psychotic retards like Inuzuka Rei see that and be like, hey, my time to shine. And then, shit all over the place.
Yeah.
It's all bought and paid for by the people at the top.
He's scared. So I decided to keep pushing. Oh, you
Like,
wanna repent?
that's been coming
Thank
down
you,
the
Dolphin.
pipeline for
It's
a
here
long
too.
time, and I'm here for it.
Do you want to repent? All right. Time to prove it. First,
I think it should be retroactive too, because there's a lot of people in the prison system right now that really do need to meet God. I've said this before, like, the second you get sentenced to life in prison, to where you're going to die behind bars, you don't get a life anymore. Like, you shouldn't get to live your entire life in shelter, being fed, and being taken care of off of the taxpayer dime. If you get sentenced to life in prison without any hope of getting out, like, you should just be taken out back.
unblock Celestium, along with anyone else whom you have wronged and are apologizing to. This is to facilitate that they will be able to see what is coming next. Second, I know you're already working on an apology, and one that I certainly hope is specifically for Celestium, Alara, and anyone else you have brigaded against. And I expect that apology to be made publicly so all involved can see it. Thirdly, I also think it only proper that you can compose and send an
Ember
email
Paradox
to
is so
Twitch
cute.
moderation
I can't handle it.
along with
she's so
BCCing
cute.
yourself in the email, admitting that you were responsible for
How her subscription thing is just leaflet gushing over her. Oh man, Lord Intellectual has some heavy competition with that, bro.
the fraudulent and hate-filled brigade that
It's
resulted
gonna
in
steal your
Celestium's
girl, bro.
completely unwarranted and unlawful ban from the platform. I also want you to beg them to reverse their decision, unban Celestium immediately, and wipe any record of said ban from her account. Post a screenshot of this sent email, of course, redacting any personal information so you are not doxing yourself, once it arrives back into your inbox. Doing this will at least show that you are being serious in regard to asking for forgiveness from those whom you have wronged. Also, be aware, if you do not comply with the conditions I have listed above, I have been made aware that Celestium's team is already preparing legal processes to levy against you in the event of non-compliance. And by the way, this last line was not a bluff. I was not bluffing when I said this either. I've been in contact with Celestium and her team all afternoon today. They are fully prepared to start beginning legal action if necessary. What legal action in specific, I am not privy to. I am not involved in that aspect, so I cannot say with any level of certainty what degree or what kind of legal action.
The thing is like, when you're a YouTuber or when you're a VTuber, Like when you essentially make money off of making videos and stuff, and somebody kind of in bad faith attacks your brand and prevents you from doing what you're doing, like making money, and like, kind of attacks your bottom line, it becomes like a legal business issue. And there's a lot you can do when it comes to people brigading and wrongfully fucking with your business. A lot of libel, a lot of slander, a lot of this, that, and the other. There's a lot of fucking shit you can do when it comes to that. Along the lines too, like she can just offer like a fucking restraining order against them, and like they can make it kind of like a legal thing for him to even talk about her. I know when my mom went to court with my dad over their divorce, she lied and said like a whole bunch of horrendous shit about my dad, and they made it so that my dad couldn't even like mention her outside of court. So you could do all kinds of shit with court orders. Back when I was 12 years old, and I was arrested for caving my mom's boyfriend's head in with my guitar after I caught him on top of my little sister. One of my court-ordered stipulations for the expungement of my record was not being able to play video games for a year. And boy howdy did I not fucking comply with that.
They may potentially partake in, but they are fully prepared to begin legal action against Ray if compliance is not full and immediate. So yes, that was not a bluff. The results. Actually, first and foremost, let me see if I can find where Ray said it. Right there. Almost very, very soon after I said it, okay, I'll do those as requested. Not long after, they started posting. So they tried to, first they did try to send an email. Okay, they first did try to send an email, and they could not. So that was, and this was the email that they said that they were going to say. Dear Twitch support team, I want to say that I'm responsible for the hate-filled brigade that resulted in Celestia.
There's a lot of people that I subscribe to that I only subscribe to because people tried to cancel them. It's like literally the funnest thing to do. And you want to hear a funny story? I originally wasn't going to play Hogwarts Legacy, right? I knew that there was going to be that trans barkeeper in it, like really early on in development, and I was like, yeah, I'm not really going to play this game because I don't support that shit, right? And then, you know, all the canceling campaigns happened, like the whole thing with like J.K. Rowling herself, and then like the Silver Veil thing, and then like all the other VTubers being bullied for playing the game. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy the Epic Edition. And I also bought it for a couple of my homies too. I bought like the top tier edition for me and two other homies, and we played the fuck out of that game. Despite them.
Completely unwarranted and unlawful.
Then the game went on to sell like 80, it's either like 40 or 80 million copies. I don't remember the exact number, but they sold a fuck ton of that game. I really want to like, I can't wait for the second one to come out. I know they're working on a sequel to Hogwarts Legacy, and I've also heard that there's like a MMO in development too.
Ban from the platform. I know what I did is wrong, and things have been complicated for her since the incident. It would be easier if if you guys can reverse the moderation decision that you guys have on Celestium. Goes on, it was applied with unfairly without clear justification, and basically a whole bunch of blah-de-blah flowery stuff here. But unfortunately, they they couldn't submit by email, so they had to do it through their website's ticket service. So they sent a receipt for the ticket that they have sent off to Twitch. Well, he said, hang on, let me pull it back up again. Yeah,
At this point now, like, it doesn't even matter. Twitch is gonna take like a whole like fucking 2 weeks to review this anyway, and by the time like they even get around to reinstating her, which they won't do, because like she herself has already like submitted a ticket. Highway VT. Who the fuck is that? Mint hair girl was also mentioned by Skybrows. Based catnip. Okay. I'll have to look into those.
if you could reverse the moderation decision. So I want to say I'm the one responsible, and he asked for a reversal of the moderation decision. So that's an actual asked them for an actual reversal. And so again, this is the receipt for the ticket that they sent requesting this from Celestium. We will see what occurs because of this. So yeah, they folded in a heartbeat. Bearing in mind, all of this happened, all of their responses happened within minutes of me tweeting. I would say within 10 minutes of my tweets, they responded that they were so scared they responded that fast. Okay, I'll do it. Okay, I sent it off. Look, here, I sent it off. We're still waiting on the aforementioned apology letter that is expected to be crafted for Celestia Melara. What was it? Marie was the other VTuber's name that he brigaded against her. Basically, we're still waiting on that. Now, I don't expect to, I don't know if I'm going to be privy to that, because I would fully expect that to be tagged with Celestium and Noir and the others. And
Oh, am I the only one getting audio artifacts listening to her, or am I just nuts? Like, is she using like some sort of like voice filter and it's like fucking up, or is she just like spurging out her mic? I don't know. I might be insane.
not myself. I'm not expecting to get tagged in that myself. But yeah. Yeah. That's what's happened today. That made up my afternoon. So yeah. Very happy about this. I'm very happy about this. I'm very happy that Celestium is going to be getting at least some justice for what was done to her. We will see. If Twitch does not, thank you, Sidogard. Thank you for the prime. If Twitch reverses their decision on Celestium before the time is up on her ban, that'll be wonderful. I'm not overly hopeful for it, given the amount of time before her ban is actually concluded, because her ban concludes on Monday, I believe. I think. Either Monday or Tuesday, I forget which. I don't know if they're gonna lift a ban before then. So in that case, it is what it is. I do hope they remove it from her account, like the record of it from her account. I do hope they remove that.
I wouldn't know, because I hardly use Twitch.
Her.
The only reason I use Twitch is to just give people that I like views. I don't even like browse the site or anything.
Basically, we got him. He folded instantaneously. He's scared. As he should be. As he should be. Ray absolutely should be fucking terrified right now. Because I'm not fucking around. I'm absolutely not fucking around on this. So, he needs to be scared. And I'm glad he's scared. Absolutely.
Is she doing that for just like security reasons, or is she like a lot older than maybe some of us realize, or is like she actually like a dude or something? I don't know.
And we will see what happens from here. Celestium did actually, excuse me, Celestium did actually make a statement in regards. Celestium did make a statement in regards to all of this, especially when I facilitated my demands. Which, by the way, I should point out, when I outlined my demands to Ray of how to proceed, I did that in cooperation with Celestium and her team. I did not, those demands that I made were not just me out of pocket. I didn't just arbitrarily come up with all that. I actually worked very, very closely with Celestium and her team, her support team, to facilitate what demands there were going to be for Ray. Just so we're clear, this
Oh,
was not me
hello.
just going rogue. I actually worked with her. I ran the entire tweet by.
I mean, I get that too. Shit, like if you live in a small town, or if you're just kind of like easily recognizable in your area, I can see why you would want to protect your voice, I guess. See, that's like the beauty with me, is like I don't talk often, like IRL, so I think there's like very little chance of anybody like actually like recognizing my voice unless you're like close friends or family. And close friends and family already know what I do, because I told them. I was like, hey, look, I'm doing this. This is the channel. This is what I do. If anybody contacts you about me, like shut the fuck up. Being said, if I ever get doxxed, I don't give a fuck, but I know who leaked. Like, there's a very small list.
Then, before I posted, say, are you guys good with this? Does this meet with your approval? Do you have any suggestions or anything you need me to add? They were good with it, and so I posted it. So, yeah, and yes, so
I mean, like, I also have the advantage of living in a very, like, kind of largely populated area. It's also like a military town, and there's a lot of tourism and other types of shit. I essentially live like within spitting distance of Benny Johnson. I've like been driving down the street, and I've seen like Benny Johnson doing like on the street fucking interviews and stuff.
as a team. She's part of an agency, actually. So Celestium, after I made that post, she made a response. She said, I want to add that I can forgive you, Ray, but not forget or ignore.
I actually got to see Benny and Charlie and shit. There was a couple of other people, but they came to a local college, and I was able to see them speak. I didn't get to see or stay to like meet and greet with them because I had to go to work. But I did get to see Charlie like in person. Like it was literally like a week or two before he was shot as well.
What happened? Forgiveness requires actual effort on your part, not merely words, to show repentance and contrition. This doesn't cancel the past and what has already been set into motion. I hold no hate for you, and I hope you get the help that you need. May
like hearing myself, I can't really hey Penny, how you doing? I can't really pinpoint my own accent, but like at the same point, like I've always assumed that I've had a really heavy southern draw because I've lived where I've lived my entire life.
you come to Christ one day, which is a beautiful thing for her to say. And honestly, I'm with her on this. Like I went at Ray hard. I went at Ray hard because basically Celestium is a stray. Celestium is one of us. She is a stray. you guys know what I do for my strikes. With yeah, it's not. I didn't just make this music just for the shits and giggles. So yeah, you come for one of my strays. That's what's gonna happen. So Celestia responded with, Christ-like kindness, whereas I went with the demon approach, effectively speaking. Because Celestium is too sweet and too kind to be that aggressive, so I will be the demon to take on the people who come after my strays. But in this respect, I agree. This particular part here, where
Exactly,
she
holy
said,
ball.
"I hope you get the help
Exactly.
you need."
Forgiveness is a
I fully
personal
agree
thing.
with
It's not
her
for them, it's
on
for
this
you.
aspect of it. Ray clearly
Consequences still
needs
come.
help. Very clearly, Ray needs help. There is a lot going on mentally in his head.
No, every time they released a list of people and they're like, yeah, don't follow these people. They're racists and bigots and right wingers. It's a beacon for us all to find each other. They're fucking stupid. They're organizing for us.
That he definitely needs to be seeking help, because the path that he is on is a spiral into oblivion. And I'm not just talking about legally speaking, although that is legally speaking, that is a possibility. But mentally, he has been on a path to oblivion. I showed you some of his his posts from Blue Sky yesterday that were very disturbing and clearly indicates this is someone who needs to get off the internet. That's number one. Ray, when all of this is said and done, Ray needs to take a very long departure from the internet and actually needs to seek professional help. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But he definitely needs to exit the internet and go seek professional help before this downward spiral, this mental downward spiral, destroys him in multiple ways. And as hard as I went at him, I actually I legitimately do not wish harm to come to him. There is obviously something very wrong with him mentally and emotionally, and I think he needs very intensive therapy and help with whatever is happening with him. And I legitimately, from the bottom of my heart, do hope that he's able to get that help and come out on the other side a better person. My ultimate quote unquote victory in all of this, my ultimate victory would be he does what he needs to do to make amends with Celestium. After that's done, exit from the internet for a time, get some
That's the thing, man. You can still pray for your enemies' salvation at the same time of striking them down. Like, it's the fact that people conflate that for inaction is kind of ridiculous, man. You can definitely take out your enemy at the same time as like praying for their salvation. Salvation is a like a spiritual thing. It's for the soul. Like the flesh can be punished, but the soul also needs to have absolution.
professional help, get his mind right once again, get back onto the path of the righteous, so to speak, and come back as a better person, trying to actually be a force of positivity in this world versus what he's been. If he is able to do that, that would be the ultimate victory for me in all of this. That is what I want more than anything, is I want him to get his mind right and live a good life, doing good for other people. That's all Celestine wants. That's all I want. I just have very different methods than Celestium when it came to
Good
it.
day, Penny. Thanks for dropping
Ultimately,
in.
though,
Always
we
love
are
to see you.
hoping to achieve the same goal. And that's just recognize what he did, correct what he's done, make amends, get the help that he needs, and come out the other side as a better person that can do good things for others. I hope. We'll have to wait and see. Celestium will have him in her prayers because she is a woman of faith. I will keep him in my mind and in my heart. And I will hope that he can change for the better when all is said and done. And Ray, if you're watching my YouTube videos, don't know if you do. If you're watching my YouTube videos, Ray, please listen to my advice. Please listen to what I'm saying. What happened was not done out of hatred for you. I do not wish you to quote unquote disappear. I don't wish you to come to harm either by your own hand or by someone else's hand. I only want you to make a change for the better, to become a better person, to understand what you have been doing is wrong, and actually want to make the change. And if you are able to do this, if you are able to do this complete turnaround, make this change and become a better person, I want to know about it. Legitimately. No hyperbole, no bullshit. If you are able to make this change, take the steps necessary to make a change, do right by yourself, by those you love, by your community, and come out the other side as a better person, I want to know. I absolutely want to know, because you know what? While I have obviously...
My opinion on Inuzuka Rei is I think he's legitimately just like a psychotic bad actor. I don't even think he's actually Christian. I think he might be knowledgeable of certain aspects of Christianity, but I don't think he's actually a Christian. He hangs out with pedophiles. He hangs out with troons. He kind of does a lot of kind of intellectually violent things. He fucking actually brings harm to people. I don't think he's a Christian at all. I think he's using it as a cosplay, if you catch my drift. Like, exactly, like, this dude needs to be ran down, like, and absolutely freaking chased out of town. Like, at the very least, y'all know where I fucking stand. I made it very fucking clear that he should be strung up, but, I can't influence everybody else's decision, and at the end of the day, I am not judge, jury, and executioner. I am just a guy who is pissed off. The situation is alone for Celestium to kind of dictate.
I had no problem, raking my claws across you. I'll be more than happy to give you a hug as well. If you can show that you've made this change. I'll be more than happy. I would be happy to give you that hug. If you can,
never
do better.
Give people this option.
Yourself right with the world again. That's a promise. I'll be here. I'll be waiting. If you can do that, let me know.
Alright, I'm gonna take a quick intermission break before we get into this one. This is all the political shit. I mean, like, I get where you're coming from, because at the end of the day, a lot of people could do what Inuzuka Rei did to any one of us, right? All it takes is one fucking unhinged weirdo and a bunch of alt accounts, right? If you want to be technical about it, we could do this type of shit to other people. We have the legitimate numbers. We could sit there and just fucking kneel on any one of these motherfuckers' necks collectively. But we don't do that because it's wrong, and we recognize it's wrong. want to defeat your opponents in the actual arena. You don't want to do what fucking the Blood Totems did with Garrosh and what was it? Was it Karen Bloodhoof, right? They had an honor duel within the Horde, and one of the I think it was a Blood Totem tribe poisoned Garrosh's axe in the Makara arena, and he was only able to defeat Karen because of no, it was Grim Totem. The Grim Totems fucking poisoned the axe, and yeah, they essentially cheated. You don't want to fucking cheat in an honor duel, is what I'm trying to get at. Amen, have fun with it. But like I said, I'm going to have a quick intermission, stretch my legs, grab a drink, hit the restroom. I'll be back in a second.
I was like, oh bro, this video's gonna bang. How do I clickbait it? I need a 1 out of 10 video. I need to get back into the YouTube algorithm. How do I make this video bang? How do I clickbait it? I lost her. I lost her. I actually copied Miska's video on Maya. The video banged too. The most sociopathic I've ever been. Jesus. I was so detached from reality. Because like all I really cared about was like anime girls at that point. I don't really give a fuck that much. I spent $3,000 on gacha waifus. I spent $3,000 on gacha waifus. I spent $3,000 on gacha waifu. I lost her. The video bang too. Fresh one, man. This is hard. I don't really give a fuck that much. Jesus. Jesus.
faith we remain. Crystals vintage. Crystals regnant. Va de retro satana. Amen. I'm only love the Lord no more. Take my pride to the grave, I'll ghost. I know I can be so in the light where I like to keep my heart. No more grace, no bark. Like to lift the broken from the start. I'll stay so deep inside His love. Take you somewhere heavenward. Time to roll the dice. You know I'm the type to risk my life. Not afraid to die. Time to show His love. Time to pay the price. All up on His glory. Do just what He said. I'm a straight up virtue. Straight up virtue. Yeah, full of grace. Yeah, full of grace. Straight up virtue. Straight up virtue. Yeah, full of grace. Yeah, full of grace. I'm alive, but I'm not. I'm alive, but I'm alive. And this valley is a surprise if I'm living for the King, and I treat my body like a holy thing. And am I really that bad if I choose to be me? Can get happy when I serve, only care about the King. In control, that's how I like it in His perfect will. Never lose my soul, so you ain't taking nothing from me when I stand. I'll stay so deep inside His word. Take you somewhere heavenward. Bang, bang, you can walk in faith with me. No fear, no shame, listen to your heart go. Go strong, go bold, go strong, and then we go in peace. Whoa. Be at peace, a condom, verbal tone, just follow Him, I'll lead the way. Time to roll the dice, you know I'm the type. I'm a straight up virtue, straight up virtue. Yeah, full of grace, yeah, full of grace. I am blind, I am light. I am virtue, but I'm more. I'm alive in His Spend my life in the shadows, dark and cold.
Alright, we're back at it.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. Okay, well, holy frickin' crap, it appears Iran just made another catastrophic mistake. A couple days ago, we were covering how the Iranian president basically got cold feet, started apologizing to neighboring Arab nations for the strikes on American targets within their borders. He apologized, said it was a catastrophic mistake, and that it wouldn't happen again. Then, of course, what followed is exactly what you'd expect with these Islamist radical regimes. They say one thing, then did another, and immediately started launching more attacks. And that, of course, was frickin' stupid. But it could have possibly been explained as, the information not traveling across the chain of command. Someone didn't get the memo. The strike was already approved before the apology and the commitment to no longer attack their Arab neighbors. But now I think it's quite clear, no, it was simply a diversion tactic, a lie, or possibly their puppet president not actually having the authority to really stop anything. And so it appears now the Iranian regime has doubled down on stupid, launching more attacks on their Arab neighbors, this time not even targeting a US base inside Arab borders, but rather sending kamikaze drones into the country of Oman and lighting up oil tanks at their port of Salalah or Salale. Iran is now incinerating Oman's petroleum facilities, and I'm sure many people will try to spin this into, oh, it's actually a very deep strategy and proof that Iran is still very much in this. But folks, this doesn't look like strategy. It doesn't look like Iran getting the upper hand. This looks again like desperation. It looks like the regime's death throes. It looks like possibly the dumbest thing they've done yet. And of course, it's sparking fury, not just from President Trump, who's obviously going to respond in kind, likely respond 10 times harder. But it's also sparking the fury of these Arab Gulf nations, once allies of Iran, once neutral arbiters in this whole situation. Now it appears they're actively turning on the Iranian regime and requesting help from the UN Security Council. Let me show you guys exactly what's happening. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so we've got some stunning footage from the port of Salalah. I mean, yet again, another ridiculous play from the Iranians. Probably their best angle right now is to play the victim, to pretend as if they're not actually a threat and really they're just the victims of Donald Trump's crazed war ambitions. Basically feeding into the left-wing narrative, I think, would probably be their strongest play right here. But instead, they're engaging in indiscriminate acts of terror and not even targeting American assets. I mean, sure, you could argue that this port is beneficial to American forces. I think it's used as a refueling spot, if I'm not mistaken. But this is very much Gulf state infrastructure. They're attacking their own neighbors. Kind of hard to pretend as if you're the good guy to maintain good faith when you're attacking hotels in Dubai and petroleum stations in Oman. I mean, this is the exact kind of strike that Iran should have avoided if they had any shred of strategic common sense left. It's obvious common sense has left the building, folks. This is just pure desperation. This is...
It's crazy that Islamist, terrorists, communists, and leftists all operate in kind of like the same capacity. It's funny how that plays out, huh?
Cause as much chaos as possible. They probably saw what was happening with oil prices, the price of oil shooting down to $80 a barrel. Their stated ambition was to shoot oil up to $200 a barrel. That was their big trump card, right? Well, obviously, when they realized that markets weren't reacting, this is what they decided to do. Their plan is to just blow shit up and cause chaos and hope that it benefits them. And well, obviously, when your military strategy is so half-baked and idiotic and desperate, well, it's likely to blow up in your frickin' face, and that's exactly what's happening.
About what it can do here. It thought that if it could strike these other Arab states, that the Arab states would put pressure on the United States to end this war. And this is the same thing that's going on with all this focus in the Strait of Hormuz too, Dana. They're trying to get Americans here at home to say this war is not worth it, and to try to get Arab states to tell the United States this war is not worth it. It has backfired. The Arab states have now, they want this UN Security Council resolution to condemn the Iranians for carrying out these strikes against these Gulf states. And so there is, I think, great diplomatic success on the part of the United States and Israelis to say, look, the world is now organized against the Iran regime. They're the ones that are isolated. That's going to be really important for this psychological aspect of this war, to get the regime to finally buckle and say, look, we're done fighting. We got to put together some kind of group of people who are going to be more compliant with the United States.
Perhaps you can help us understand a little bit what that red line might be for the Gulf states.
Well, good to be with you, Will. And I think it, needs to highlight how successful this operation has been for the first 11 days. Obviously, our Gulf allies and those that are, taking a lot of these incoming ballistic missiles and drones, do have an ever decreasing amount of patience to not join the fight. And, in a coordinated manner, there may come a time where they join the United States. But, right now we have devastated their Navy. They're combat ineffective. We've taken out, dramatic amounts of their ballistic missiles and drone capabilities. And most importantly, Will, we've taken out their ability to produce more. And, Iran should be careful, because if they provoke the Gulf allies to joining the fight, I mean, that could be even more, bombs on their head and more firepower behind the United States and Israel's efforts.
Iran is playing with fire right now. The Gulf states, those used to be their allies in the region. Iran has the communist nations and their Muslim brothers. Well, the commies' balls have shriveled up, let's be real. They've shot back up into the body. China and Russia is nowhere to be seen, M-I-frickin-A. And now the Muslim Brotherhood in the Gulf seems to be evaporating in real time. Instantly, the GCC, the Gulf Cooperation Council, released a furious statement condemning Iran, and now we're learning that Gulf states are going to the UN. Not that that's going to make a difference, as if Iran really cares what the UN Security Council is going to be writing, but still showing how the Gulf nations are totally turning on this desperate, out-of-control regime. At some point, we might end up seeing the straw that breaks the camel's back, and some of these neighboring Gulf nations start joining in, bombing Iranian military targets alongside us. I mean, at this point, you could obviously justify it, considering Iran's using weapons against them. An absolute disaster. I don't know how you spin any of this as being good for Iran. Yet, of course, there's so many people all over social media who continuously make these suggestions, and they're using this situation as well. This is now apparently proof that Iran is not backing down, and they're fighting back, and they're in it to win it. But I don't know how you come to that conclusion. This is the most desperate play, and not only that, the fact that they're using these kamikaze, what people call suicide drones, that tells you all that you need to know. It's all they've got left. Their navy's been obliterated, their missile capacity's degraded, and so all they have left are these little drones that they're flying into the dumbest targets imaginable. And I get that it's a point of concern, it's shocking, it implies that they're still attacking, they still have an offensive, but really the question is, for how much longer? There's no serious missile strikes, there's no reports of mass casualties, all they have left are these little drones. And that will not last very long, because these drones come with a major vulnerability. Every time they launch one of these drones, they expose something. Their launch locations get detected. We start to figure out exactly how they're operating these networks, and slowly but surely, the entire drone program will be dismantled. I'm paying attention to what's going on here, and for me, I'm only seeing
I think at this point, it's literally just a bunch of disconnected cells kind of yeeting off whatever fireworks they have left. Remember that report from like a week ago that was saying that their whole entire military infrastructure had been effectively beheaded? I think that's what we're seeing, is just the larger groups that had a little bit of a stockpile of some mid-tier munitions are just wreaking havoc at this point.
Inevitable result, the absolute collapse of the Iranian regime. Pretty soon, militarily, they'll be left with nothing. And now it appears, thanks to their absolutely idiotic decision-making, they'll be left with no more allies in the region as well. And that, my friends, may be a worse fate than having your military infrastructure completely obliterated. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Unconditional surrender means foreign troops get to rape your wife and daughter. Everyone can feel that. That's like the most atavistic instinct there is. And so to avoid that, people will do anything.
It makes no sense in the context of the United States and how we have carried out wars or military interventions. This next part, I want to be as contextual as possible. So first, let me show the clip that many of you.
I do want to watch that particular video, by the way. I've talked a little bit about Tucker Carlson in some past streams. My views on him is like really weird because like he spits facts, but like I know he's like a fed plant, so it's kind of hard to kind of really determine where the dude lies. And sometimes he says some stupid shit. Sometimes he says some not so stupid shit. It's just like at this point you just gotta kind of pick and choose your battles.
America's immigration policy, and it is suicidal. Our toxic empathy will be our undoing. Enough third world criminal and legal migration from places that hate us and people that are going to kill us when we bring them over here. And that's happened today in 2 separate terrorist attacks. America is under attack right now. We've been saying keep your head on a swivel, and this is why. A shooting at Old Dominion University in Virginia, a large and prominent university. 20,000 students go to this university. The gunman is dead. He's injured 2 people. Good riddance to this monster. Well, who was the person, the terrorist, who opened fire at Old Dominion University? If only there were signs. Well, there were signs, actually. The man who opened fire at Old Dominion University was a terrorist walking on the loose who had ISIS affiliations. We knew about this. His name is Mohammed Jalla. He's a naturalized U.S. citizen, wasn't born here, doesn't belong here. He's from Sierra Leone.
It's crazy that in like 2 weeks, we've had like 3 or 4 now, like actual fucking like terror incidences in the U.S. and nobody's really talking about it.
How the hell did he even get over here? Who stamped his paperwork? Convicted in 2017 of providing material support for ISIS, traveled back to Africa multiple times, joined ISIS. We put him in prison and then let him out to go commit murders, to go kill and commit a terrorist attack. This is what the DOJ said on his arrest in 2016. Jola praised the gunman who killed 5 U.S. military members of a terrorist attack in Chattanooga, Tennessee in 2015. And stated that he's been thinking about conducting a terrorist attack. Well, ladies and gentlemen, look at that today. 1 dead. Correction from the earlier tweet. It is a breaking news environment right now. As shooter, terrorist opens fire at Old Dominion University. Suspected gunman has been killed. 2 victims. Wow, if only there were signs. Oh, wait a second. There were signs. He was arrested for being a terrorist, and we couldn't deport him permanently? We had to leave him here. Our toxic empathy is suicidal. I'm reliably informed the attacker of Old Dominion University is Mohammed Jalla, the same Jalla who was previously convicted of providing material support to ISIS. Look at this. And then planning terrorist attacks in the United States of America. First-hand witnesses to this attack confirms this is all true.
Did they describe those people at all?
The description of the shooter, they said he was a Muslim man. I know he was a student at ODU.
Was
shooter Mohammed Jalla. He was arrested for providing material support for ISIS. Why is he free to go kill Americans instead of in Guantanamo Bay for the rest of his life? Or maybe better yet, back in Sierra Leone in a prison there. He's convicted. He was let out of federal prison in 2024, December of 2024. Goodness gracious. The identities of the 2 involved have not been released. Officials say the shooter was killed. 2 others were injured. Campus under lockdown. A multitude of gunshots, and people were screaming. Shooting took place shortly before a separate active shooter situation unfolded at a synagogue in Michigan. Let's head on over to Michigan now. Synagogue shooter dead. This all happening at the exact same time. Can't tell me there's no connection. There's got to be a connection. Shooter killed after driving a car into Detroit synagogue preschool, opening fire. Cops say the children and staff survived the attack. This guy rammed his car through the synagogue and then was driving down the hallways. See here the black smoke, the smoke billowing out of the building, was driving down the hallways, firing guns, shooting firearms, and trying to mow down kids.
Crazy.
Here in Detroit. Was able to ram his car through the hallways, was able to rampage through the entire school. Thank God no students or staff were injured in the attack. A dozen parents sprinted into the building to get their children. After getting approval from police, security guard was taken to the hospital. Being struck by the vehicle, the security guard who was there was able to actually take down the attacker, who had explosives.
Yeah, this is why you should always carry, like, it always be alert. You could be the only thing that stands between these people and a bunch of dead kids. Keep that in the back of your mind always. They don't expect there to be a good guy with a gun anywhere they go. That just, like I said, carry, be prepared, be aware. You could be the only thing standing in the way of a good or bad outcome. In a way, like, even though, like, the acts themselves are out of our control, the ball is in our court. We have the power to prevent this type of shit.
In his vehicle. Apparently his vehicle was completely packed and lined with explosives. He's trying to blow up, so he's trying to do as much collateral damage as possible and then to blow up the building.
A lot of people like to think about Uvalde as like an instance of like how people would actually act. You have no idea. If something like that was happening at my kid's school and a police officer tried to get in my way, there would be an opening on the police force.
Well, he was at it. You can see here the smoke billowing from outside of the school. Terrifying. Look at the black smoke coming from the top of the school there. I'm told law enforcement source that the suspected shooter at Michigan synagogue was armed with a rifle, rammed the vehicle into the building, was killed in the shootout with armed security. Vehicle caught on fire. Why did the vehicle catch on fire? It caught on fire because the suspect's vehicle ignited because of a explosive that they had in the vehicle, driving down the hallways at high speed before being neutralized by a security guard. Thank God.
No, it was work in progress. We're, through an abundance of caution, clearing the vehicle for IEDs or any explosives. We've got a significant number of bomb dogs on site, bomb techs on site, and all of that's going to be done to check the boxes. We have deployed resources all across the county, just in case, out of an abundance of caution, that there may be a second.
Look at this. Crews reportedly found a large amount of explosives in the suspect's vehicle that slammed into the Michigan synagogue. Police have said they're working to clear the vehicle safely. A lot worse could have been done.
As well, that emergency responders apparently found a large amount of explosives in the back of the vehicle, which just gives you even more insight into the sinister nature of what happened here.
So thankful for the brave security guard and a security plan that was updated just last month to prepare for the worst. The worst happened, thank God they were ready. The commentary here. In other words, law-abiding armed citizen appear to have put down a terrorist, saving countless lives. Civil Rights Division is aware of the attack. It was clearly an attack on Zorhan Mandami. Too soon? I don't know. No, it's not too soon.
It was like a federal thing to have like a lockdown fence around all these schools now, but I could be mistaken. Every school in my area has these fences.
Peaceful protest in the streets of New York. Let's look back in the last couple of weeks. Muslim bomb, a New York protest. Austin Bar gets shot up. Jewish synagogue attacked. Norfolk.
That's why it's a Jewish private school, and they don't have to follow the same laws and regulations as everybody else.
Do you see what is happening? Last 2 weeks, Islamists attempt to carry out terrorist attacks in New York. Islamist kills 3 people in a mass murder and a violent attack on a synagogue in Michigan. Sheriff confirmed armed security confronted the shooter. Schools, synagogues, and other vulnerable locations should have trained armed guards, Seconds matter. You cannot wait for the police. Yes, correct. Look at this. Active shooter at Detroit synagogue. Look at the law enforcement response here. Goodness gracious. Yeah. The sheriff says that there are no injuries, thank God, because of the security guard at the school. Someone's shooting up a synagogue in Michigan. You never see anybody shoot up a mosque, and that's pretty relevant. All Jewish organizations are now on a lockout protocol. Abundance of caution. Active shooters. Abhorrent evil. Pray. Ladies and gentlemen. Thankfully, nobody...
No, I haven't heard about that. Where did that happen at? Seems about right, though.
These things develop. Active situation. Here's what we know. You have to keep your head on swivel no matter who you are. If you are an American, ensure that you are safe. You have a God-given right to carry and arm yourself, to defend yourself, and to put down a threat. It's not perfect, but it's the best we got. It's a lot better than having nothing. That's what most people around the world have, so take advantage.
And a lot of things people don't realize is a lot of JROTC units in high school have like firearms and gun saves and shit. Like I know there's probably at least like one or two like actual working like rifles or shotguns on most like high school campuses, because a lot of high schools prior to like the 80s had like actual shooting teams and stuff. And the thing is like a lot of them just haven't gotten rid of their firearms yet because they've been under like government programs, so they can't get rid of them. I know my high school actually had a couple of like real what are they like I don't know if they were like Lee Enfields or fucking what are they, like M1 carbines, like World War II fucking like drill rifles, but we had like active like real bolt action rifles in our lockers. We also had like a fuck ton of like air rifles, and we had cavalry sabers and shit. We had all kinds of like impromptu weapons that we could use in the event of some shit like this. And I know some students had the codes, like the higher ranking like senior students in the JROTC had like some of the codes.
Carry, keep your head again on a swivel. Stay frosty, stay extremely salty. It's your boy Benny. Pray for the victims today. See ya.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. You know, if you ever needed to know where the modern left was headed, then look no further than Mamdani. You know, there's certain moments in politics where someone's behavior, I think, tells you everything that you need to know about the ideology that they represent. You don't need to read their campaign platform, you don't need to listen to the speech or the campaign slogans. No, just observe the actual behaviors, observe the track record, and it tells you all that you need to know, and that's exactly what happened here with Zoran Mamdani. His response to this New York City terror attack has got to be one of the most atrocious things I have ever seen, but you know what's even more atrocious? It's not the expected Islamic extremism apologist, you know, kind of behavior from Zoran Mamdani. It's not the diversion tactics that we would expect from him. No, what's worse is the leftist media essentially jumping in and playing the same twisted games. Folks, I got some clips to really put everything into perspective. Some clips that I think perfectly encapsulate
You saw that one, did you? The AI video that he puts in front of it is like absolutely hilarious. Oh man, is that like Eustace's most recent video that you're talking about, Fashizi?
And capture just how backwards the modern left has become. And of course, the overarching phenomenon known as chickens for KFC, the left-wing response to this Islamist terror attack in New York City is everything wrong with modern leftist thinking. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So of course, it all started with Zoran Mamdani's initial response to that terror attack. Yeah, what did he do? He didn't condemn radical Islam. He didn't point the finger at the giant elephant in the room, that is the incompatibility of Islam in the Western world. No, of course, why would he ever do that? He's part of the problem. No, instead, he tried to divert the blame to, quote, white supremacy.
This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy entitled Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City. I'm the first Muslim mayor of our city. Anti-Muslim bigotry is nothing new to me, nor is it anything new for the 1 million or so Muslim New Yorkers who know this city as our home.
Now that, of course, was bad enough, but then, as we know with these leftoid individuals, they love adding insult to injury, right? And that's exactly what Zoran Mamdani did. Following his atrocious remarks, he then doubles down by snubbing the heroic NYPD officers who put themselves in harm's way, lunged over the barricades, arresting those terrorist individuals. No credit goes to them. He doesn't even mention them. Instead, he hosts a dinner with Mahmoud Khalil, the leader of a foreign Islamist influence group, whose stated mission is to, quote, end Western civilization.
Say, Mayor Zor
Guarantee you the police officers are probably getting punished. This is just how they fucking operate. Like, I guarantee you that they've probably seen some sort of, like, reprimand for doing what they did in that situation.
Zoran Mamdani should have had that chief over for dinner, not anti-Israel activist Mahmoud Khalil, who came over to the governor's or the mayor's mansion for a Ramadan dinner the other night. Khalil, for people watching, wondering who that is, he's the Columbia grad we used to see on protest duty all the time. He's fighting a federal deportation case after the White House says he supported Hamas during those protests, which he denies.
The men and women of the NYPD will do the right thing. They're going to enforce the laws. They're going to show up for work. But they understand that this man on the screen right now does not have their back.
I mean, the contrast is absolutely staggering. You have police officers who risk their lives to stop a terror attack, and the political leader can't even bring himself to acknowledge their existence. No, instead he's busy hosting another terrorist for dinner. This, my friends, is what people mean when they say that the left has frickin' lost the plot. We're looking at terror cells being activated across the nation. We've seen multiple terror attacks in the span of a couple of weeks. The issue, by the way, the elephant in the room, is radical Islam, which frankly should be a natural enemy of the left, especially considering all the social repression. This is an ideology that is antithetical to everything that the left believes in, but instead, what do we get? Oh, just deflection and defense from the media. We got CNN trying to flip the whole script, pretending as if Mamdani was the potential victim here.
2 Republicans say Muslims don't belong here after an attempted terror attack against New York's Mayor Zoran Mamdani, and the House Speaker Mike Johnson says nothing really to condemn those comments.
Supposedly, some of these comments are as a result of the attempt against Mayor Mamdani, who was raised Muslim, was he not himself? Yeah. So they're being anti-Muslim and they're finally defending Mamdani over.
Yeah, not letting Muslims in post 9/11 would probably have been like the smartest fucking move ever.
Something.
To be clear, the attack wasn't on Mayor Mamdani. It was on people protesting. It was attacking protesters, people protesting Mamdani.
Right by his house.
It wasn't to frame it as an anti-Muslim attack would actually completely reverse what happened. Someone who shouted
I'm not saying that it was
Allah Akbar
anti-Muslim.
through
I'm saying that they're
a bomb
finally
that didn't
doing
go off at the
that
protesters.
Republicans are finally doing something.
It's hard to wrap my head around. They tried twisting this on MAGA, literally, unironically. They tried turning Zoran Mamdani into the victim. And that really seems to be the issue with left-wing thinking, right? Somehow, according to their thinking, if it fits their leftist ideology, they can always manage to twist and contort the situation to turn the victim into the perpetrator. Just like we saw in this situation. At first, a bomb was thrown at Jake Lang and his friends, and it was kind of justified, according to these leftist idiots, because Jake Lang is a controversial figure. Then when that didn't work, they tried lying and claiming that Mamdani was the real victim.
It's crazy how they blatantly kind of follow like the communist handbook too. Like, one of the biggest things in the communist handbook is to kind of like do these activities and then like blame your opponent for them. Like, literally projecting upon your opponent, your political opponent.
Here. And of course, now as the conversation surrounding Islam is coming back to the forefront, the victim, of course, is all the peaceful Muslims. The same Islamophobia angle that we saw post 9/11.
So I can't speak for Mike Johnson, but I would say we've had 2 terrorist attacks here in the last
10 days.
What does that have to do with Muslims?
So can we condemn those? Why are we?
Of course. What does that have to do with Muslims?
What does that have to do with Muslims?
So we saw 2 terrorist attacks in New York City in the last 10 days, 2 Islamist terrorist attacks. And Abby Phillips' follow-up is, well, what does that have to do with the Muslims? Are you serious? It has everything to do with Muslims and Islam. Again, it's frickin' chickens for KFC. These people go.
You can't expect much from her. She comes from a background of low IQ, like very obviously.
Go to bat for an ideology that, if in power, would destroy them. Abby Phillips would be forced to wear a burqa and push state propaganda if the Islamists ever had their way. Yet here she is, running defense for a totally destructive antagonistic force. Always with this naive talking point. But most Muslims are peaceful. You know, we've heard the line a million times, I get it. Of course, the vast majority of people in any religious group are not extremists, but that's not the point here. The issue that we want to discuss is that radicalization is a serious issue with this particular religion. And the argument seems to be, well, just turn a blind eye to it. You know, a terror attack. It is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. But I simply cannot accept this standard. You know, I get crime and violence is going to exist in any society, but if you had the ability to identify a particular group where that stuff was coming from and then do something about it so you can, I don't know, avoid the violence that follows, would you not tackle that issue? Would you not make appropriate policy decisions to shield your society from that clear identifiable threat? Of course you would. Oh, it's just a few terror attacks. We should have 0 Islamist terror attacks. None. They just want to turn a blind eye to clear danger, and I will not stand for it. I mean, what are we defending here? Opening the border to potential terror cells and terror networks from abroad? Enough turning a blind eye to clearly preventable violence. Oh, it's just a terror attack. It doesn't mean that we should reject Islam, and it's not just terror attacks. Look at what they've turned a blind eye to in Europe, and actually speaking to that, speaking of the warning signs, here's an interesting story. And really, I think this is a major warning sign because this is Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, who's basically just like Mamdani, the same kind of character. Well, look at this report. Apparently, Sadiq Khan personally read reports detailing young girls being gang RAPED'd in hotels by groups of Muslim men who plied them with drugs, threatened them, and abused them. And yet, on at least 10 public occasions, Mayor Sadiq Khan denied that grooming gangs even existed in London. Kind of reminds me of Governor Tim Walz seeing all that Somali fraud, but he vehemently denied that it existed for years until the whole thing freaking blew up in his face. Well, it's interesting, right? Turning a blind eye to clear threats. And the threat is clear, by the way. Look at the demographics when it comes to sexual offenses. Look at the bar at the bottom showing UK native-born citizens and then North African and Middle Eastern migrants. We are importing terrorism and violence against our young women. And we've spoken about this before, this radical Islamic belief that they are in their religious right to abuse non-believer women. Non-Islamic women essentially are open targets because they're kuffar. So I guess to answer your question, Abby Phillips, this has everything to do with Islam. That is the problem. That's the common denominator here. And you keep trying to distract from it because you're so woke and virtuous. You keep running defense for people like Zoran Mamdani. And now we live in a world where Zoran Mamdani, after a terror attack in the biggest city in America, he snubs the heroic cops who dashed on the front line and dines with a subversive Islamist character. And CNN plays defense and distract. We are not bigots, folks. No matter how many times they repeat it, we are not bigots. We're simply objective observers. We see the ideology and we want nothing to do with it. That is not racism. That's self-preservation. It's the most rational position that I can think of. The threat is staring them in the face and they ignore it, they run cover for it, and wave it in. This is the modern left. They're almost more dangerous than the terrorists that they defend. They're the frickin' enablers with their idle empathy. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
You ever get the sinking sense that you are sleepwalking through the end times and what we are watching play out is simply God's design and revelation? Perhaps AI is the Antichrist, and the war that we are witnessing right now raging in the Mideast, well, it was just bound to happen, and there's nothing anybody could do about it. You hate to have been part of it.
I hate all this fucking prophecy nonsense, bro. It's such a stupid, weird angle to fucking go for.
But nonetheless, God's plan is going to be God's plan as you watch rockets rain down on Jerusalem, some of the holiest sites in all of Christendom and Islam and Judaism. You sort of get that sense that you can't stop what's coming. And what's coming is going to be Revelation itself. And now we've seen explosions on the Temple Mount. Iranian missile lands a few hundred meters from Jerusalem's Old City Western Wall. The Dome on the Rock Mosque and the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, you can see here, if you've ever been to Jerusalem, the scaffolding that carries up to the Temple Mount that surrounds this location. Of course, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, one of the most holy places in all of Christendom. Air raid sirens and evacuations as pilgrims are sheltering in place inside of this holy place. Look at this. And it is what the end times looks like. Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where antiquity holds Christ was crucified, ascended into heaven. Wild scenes. Okay, why should we care about these kind of things so much? Why does this matter? Well, the Temple Mount right here is right now a mosque. It's called the Dome on the Rock. It's a mosque that was built there after the temple was destroyed by the Romans 70 years after Christ's death. This Temple Mount, all that's left of the original Temple Mount, known as Solomon's Temple, are some really big rocks. All of the temple has been completely wiped clean, but it was a massive structure. It looked like this when it was fully built. It was the tallest building in all of antiquity. According to Jewish tradition, it housed the essence and spirit of God himself in this temple. And you can see how magisterial it is and impressive it would be even to this very day. Nonetheless, Christ preached inside of these temple courts and said that not a single stone will be left one on another. Everybody laughed at him at the time. Christ said, I am the temple. When Christ was crucified, the curtain that separated the presence of God was torn in two. And 70 years after, the destruction of the second temple happened exactly as Christ predicted it. The second temple was destroyed exactly 70 years after Christ's death. Roman forces under Titus ripped every single stone down in the siege of Jerusalem. The revolt began. The siege, Roman legions besieged Jerusalem, starting at Passover, breaching the walls after months of intense fighting, starvation, internal strife. In August, 70 years after Christ's death, a fire was set to the temple, and soldiers took the total destruction of the temple. The city was razed, the population was slaughtered or sold in slavery. The temple treasures were carried off to Rome. The loss of a central place of worship transformed Jewish life, ending sacrificial system and leading to the development of synagogues and local community worship. The loss of this, of course, is, and it continues to be, totally and completely critical to the Jewish faith. The Dome on the Rock, of course, sits there now. It's one of the world's oldest surviving Islamic architecture. Again, you can see here, this, of course, is inside of the heart of the modern state of Israel. This is the place that it holds. Anyway, why is any of this important, and why is it important that bombs are landing on the Temple Mount? Well, because of a prophecy of a third temple. Third temple refers to the hypothetical future rebuilt Jewish temple on the Temple Mount, same site where the first temple was built. The second temple was rebuilt, and then this would be the third temple. In mainstream Judaism, the rebuilding of the temple is considered a central part of the messianic prophecy and ultimate redemption. It would restore the full system of sacrifices, priestly services, and divine presence and dwelling among the people. Jewish tradition draws from biblical sources. Also, in Christendom, in Christian end times prophecy, the third temple plays a significant role, linked to the passages like Daniel and Thessalonians, where the Antichrist desecrates a third temple. In Revelation, it talks about what the temple will look like, how it will be measured. Many see the construction as a prerequisite to the end of time itself, the return of Christ, the tribulation. There's been no third temple built. The Temple Mount remains under Muslim administration. So, of course, like, how could there be a Jewish temple there? Well, unless it gets blown up, which is why the bombs striking the Temple Mount are very significant. If the mosque gets blown up, will it be rebuilt? Would there be, and there is, an active political and religious forces that would push to rebuild a temple like this instead of a mosque? Well, of course there would be, and there are in Christendom and in Jewish circles. There are, of course, very conflicting opinions on how this would all come about. Nobody agrees really on anything. The concept remains deeply symbolic and hopeful in Jewish prayer and thought, mentioned in daily prayers and Christian prayers, frankly, because Christians believe it will usher in the end times and the return of Christ. But it's also highly sensitive geopolitically because an attempt to alter the Temple Mount would trigger major conflict between Jews and Muslims, unlike anything we've ever seen. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you watch, I mean, here you can literally see from the walls of Jerusalem.
Is there already not, like, just unmitigated conflict between Jews and Muslims anyway? Like, what the fuck does it matter?
The Iranian regime launching missiles directly at Jerusalem, city of sacred.
It's honestly like my one critique of the fucking conflicts going on right now is like we're just fucking dipping our toes into this fucking religious conflict. That's all it's ever been, is like just this religious dogma between two factions in the desert. It's no concern of the United States. They should just kind of handle it themselves, you know.
Billions of believers in the month of Ramadan over the Western Wall, over the Dome on the Rock, and the Church of the Holy
Gravity of the situation is that they can't fucking do it on their own.
Of antiquity, right, through to the present day. You wonder why it's always, like, everyone's always talking about Jerusalem and Israel? This is why. Because all of the three major religions of the planet have their nexus of holy spots there in that city. Video shows Iranian impact sites in Jerusalem. You can see the actual church there as the missiles rocket to the ground and explode. One hit right next to the Dome on the Rock. Where's the outrage? Again, if a missile hits the Dome on the Rock.
And the way I see it is like both of them are using like religious pretext and stuff to like justify what they're doing to each other. And it's honestly like kind of like the wrongest shit that I've ever seen. Totally honest.
And it's from Iran, or perhaps it's a false flag. You don't know. I don't know. Here we have the Israel Foreign Ministry. The Iranian regime is firing missiles directly at Jerusalem, right at the Dome on the Rock Mosque. Protecting lives of worshipers, safety concerns. This is why prayer at holy sites has been temporarily suspended. So now they're suspending prayer at the holy sites. It's happening, man. It's happening. The Church of the Resurrection. It is the holiest site in Christianity. So it is wild that this is a site that's getting hit now. So you have like Christianity's holiest site, Islam's holiest site, and Judaism's holiest site, all within line, all within fire. According to tradition, the church contains both the site of where Christ was crucified, Golgotha, and the location of Jesus' empty tomb, where he was buried and resurrected.
I honestly don't know a whole lot of like the goings on in that particular shit. I should honestly do a lot more research on the subject, but you know, it just like I don't want to say I don't care, but Like, it's not my my biggest concern at the moment, to be totally real.
They're immensely holy sites for Christianity. And this is what it looks like. So, yeah, I mean, like, listen, Iran launches 42nd wave of missiles with the supreme leader's first statement. Could these missiles hit and destroy the dome on the rock? Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, the thing is really not that well built in the first place, and it could, it could be obliterated by that or by a false flag attack. This is really happening. Again, keep your eye on a swivel. Understand.
Thing is that the latter is kind of like it's a symbolic thing. It's about the altering of the state of the church. You could argue that the same rule is in effect for like every object within the church, right? Like if you move one of the candlesticks, you're altering the church, and that pisses people off.
Like perhaps maybe Iran would actually target this if they were to destroy this mosque. I mean, it seems a little crazy, but like if they were to destroy this mosque, they'd be able to turn the entire Muslim world against Israel, where there's actually been some tenuous allyship there through the Abraham Accords and in this, current Iranian war. So keep an eye out for the end times. You would need to destroy this mosque in order to usher in the end times, according to Jewish and Christian tradition, the third temple being rebuilt there. Be very, very cautious, ladies and gentlemen. Know your Bible, know your scriptures, know what's up. And man, Sean Ryan did a recent interview with a priest talking about the third temple actually being inside of the Catholic Church. I thought it was totally fascinating, and that there won't be a third temple built here. Something critical to understand as we work through this news cycle. Again, nobody really agrees, but this is what it may actually mean. I'll end with this. Here we go.
What about the temple? According to the fathers of the church, at least the ones that I've read, they said the temple will never be rebuilt. And it will never be rebuilt. And the reason being is because, first of all, Julian the Apostate tried to rebuild it, and it was destroyed in the process. Christ actually put an end to the Jewish sacrifice on purpose, because the Jewish sacrifice in the Old Testament was a lead-up or a prefigurement of Christ. And so he gave them one generation in order for them to convert to Christianity. And when they didn't, he put an end to their sacrifice. So technically speaking, there hasn't been practicing Jews in 2,000 years because the temple hasn't been around. They haven't been able to offer sacrifice. Doesn't mean that they don't pray and things of that sort, but they haven't been able to enact their primary religious duties, which is to offer sacrifice. Plus their Levitic line, which is their priestly line, was destroyed. So, but then, and the difficulty is people tend to misinterpret the book of Daniel, which says when the abomination of desolation takes its seat in the temple. What they don't realize is that is not a reference to the Jewish temple. That's where the Protestants are getting it wrong. So a lot of the Protestants are thinking, oh, well, let's help the Jews rebuild the temple, and then that will usher in, because Christ is going to return, after the temple. They think the temple is going to be rebuilt. And then as a result of that, the temple has to be rebuilt in order for the Antichrist to put himself in there. So let's do that so that the Antichrist will come, and then that means that Christ will come. And that's kind of their reasoning behind it. Well, first of all, just getting through the years of the Antichrist is going to be brutal, so I wouldn't be pushing that. But the fathers of the church are very clear that it will never be rebuilt, and that the reference to the abomination of desolation taking its seat in the temple is actually a reference to the Catholic Church. That's what the fathers say it's a reference to. That there's going to be some way in which the situation in the church will become compromised to such a degree. It doesn't mean that people have to know it, but its essential elements will still remain intact. But that the Catholic Church itself would become compromised in that process.
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to be going over some very satisfying updates regarding a video I posted a few days ago where Hassan Piker lost out on a collaboration opportunity with an ex-CIA whistleblower thanks largely in part to the efforts of a very patriotic VTuber. Today we're going to be looking...
This is like peak timeline shit right here. It makes me feel like Pippa is like a low-key Sky Bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's one of us, but she's like not one of us.
Looking at the updates, mainly Hassan's reaction to the entire situation and the complete crash out he is currently having. And we're going to see the 3 stages of a Hassan Piker crash out, beginning with stage 1, total feigned confusion, acting like he has no idea what's going on and has no idea who this totally irrelevant VTuber is. Then we move on to stage 2, pure copium, where he's trying to downplay everything that's going on in this situation, and we'll end with the final stage, stage 3, which is Hassan simply seething. Now, the VTuber in question here is Pippa, and she is definitely responsible for an absolute own on Hassan Piker. And it involves a potential guest, someone who was slated to be on Hassan Piker's stream in April, and that man is John Kiriakou, a ex-CIA analyst turned whistleblower who is in very high demand in terms of interviews right now, and Hassan discovered live on Twitch that he was no longer going to get a collaboration with this man.
Of course, thanks for the $5. As I saw recently that John's going on Hassan Piker's stream. A lot of his rhetoric is anti-American. His community is also extremely toxic, especially to the left. Curious as to why you're associating with that. I'm not going on Hassan Piker.
Wait, what?
Hassan Piker reached out.
Okay. He said he is. I don't know why he's like now saying he's not.
And I said, no, thank you. I've got nothing scheduled with him.
Blaytech. Wait, what?
Now, of course, it's very funny to see this guy responding in such a way that paints Hassan as someone who is un-American and has a very annoying audience. Now, a lot of people in the related post sharing that clip, like myself, would say total Pippa victory with people sharing clips like this that come from a video that captured an on-stream moment from Pippa where she was basically playing over
Pippa,
a
the
cameo
Sleeper
that
Cell.
she requested from John, where in the cameo, she warned him of what could come with a collaboration with Hassan and his community, and, well, John recognized the dangers and thanked Pippa for the heads up.
Hey, thanks for the heads up on HP. I appreciate it. I needed it, and I will take care of it. So,
I asked him not to collab with Hassan Piker. He's going on Hassan's stream.
time to even say something. Tell you the truth, the last 3 weeks I've been winging it. So I'm very grateful for the helping hand. All right, all the best. Thanks for reaching out. Bye-bye.
So seeing those two clips and the surrounding circumstances, a lot of people came to the reasonable conclusion that Pippa was responsible for disrupting this potential collaboration between Hassan Piker and John Kiriakou, claiming this was a total Pippa victory. And that's pretty much what we
CIA
covered up until
whistleblower.
today. That's what was contained in this previous video. And I love situations like this where it's a clear narrative, right? Good versus evil. You have a very unlikable person getting destroyed by a very likable person. It sets up the perfect narrative, and that's where we're going to continue today. We've had two reactions.
Talks to anybody, you should talk to Asman.
Ever since this video over the past day or so. On Pippa's side, she has been in pure ecstasy, posting fan cams of John, even locking the replies, so nobody can even really engage with this.
Wow.
I mean, she's doing this for the love of the game, just to share these fan cams of her favorite glowy. Hassan, on the other hand, has not been taking it well. Of course, he was aware that this interview had been disrupted, but he did not know the source until now.
He's showing the fucking shot collar.
Finding out the rabbit responsible, well, it caused him to cope and seethe over what he describes as Pippin Picka.
Your interview with John was canceled because a VTuber told him not to. There's a video of it. Which VTuber?
He knew
probably someone taking
beforehand.
credit for it. But It was Pippa. Who is Pippa? Pippin Pika, I believe. Who the f is that? The reason his interview was canceled with John Kiriakou.
Hi, Pippa.
Okay, can you hear it?
Beep, 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 beep. Or if you didn't get it, beep, 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 beep.
That's just a cameo. That doesn't actually... Asmongold Orbiter? No, this is a cameo, guys. Are you fucking stupid enough to believe that this was like a sincere request? No, people are... I don't think that's the case.
Now, of course, this reaction is straight out of the Hassan.
Did he
Piker
even actually
playbook,
watch the
beginning
video?
by trying to downplay everything, saying Pippa's cameo was just that, a cameo, not a sincere request, despite the fact that clearly this had great sway over John's decision to change at least how he was approaching Hassan Piker and his stream. But then he does a classic Hassan trope where, introduced with a critic or someone who is getting one over on him, he pretends like he has no idea what's going on. Like he's so confused, like, what is going on, chat? And then he starts talking about Pippa, acting like he has no idea who she is, and does another classic Hassan move, getting her name intentionally wrong, calling her Pippin Pika. Because apparently mispronouncing people's names on purpose is a way of owning them and acting like they're so irrelevant, Hassan would never know who they are. And of course, he immediately reads the chat and discovers she's an Asmongold Orbiter, whatever that means. Of course, we don't even know if that was something actually said in the chat. He might have just thought that himself and then plugged it in there so he could talk about Asmongold for a minute. But of course, his Asmongold derangement syndrome can never be squashed, just like his hatred of his own audience. You can see in that clip, he is chastising his own audience, basically saying they're stupid for believing that Pippa had any role in John's decision, which really reflects the clip from the previous video, which I didn't play in full. The rest of the video was him just chastising his own chat, calling them stupid, asking them to be normal, and that they're very weird and annoying. Like, who talks to their own audience like that and expects them to stay? Oh, Hassan, because those people are completely brainwashed and will stay no matter what. But it reminds me of this clip, and you gotta play whenever you can because it's truly funny.
I can't stand any of you dumb fucks in this chat. Oh my God, I hate the left. I hate liberalism. I hate everything that's going on every single day of the week. I hate my life. I hate streaming. I hate socialism. I hate every single person who thinks that the peak of activism is just being the most annoying, holier than thou, the most ultimately woke leftist. You did it. You have unlocked the nihilism within me, okay? I am black-pilled. Nothing will ever get better. We are never going to make it out. We can't even have a normal, non-hostile goddamn conversation on any of these issues.
Incredible. He truly created his own prison, ladies and gentlemen. He really did. He created his own audience, and now he gets to deal with them forever, and he's going to crash out every single day on them because they are not normal. They are hostile. They are unreasonable, and that's exactly what he has fostered for many, many years. But let's move on to stage 2 of the crash out, the copium.
Maybe she actually did a call with him or something, but also none of this matters. Like, who gives a fuck if I can't fucking interview John Kiriakou? Who cares?
Requested this false. Playing Overwatch, and there was only like 2 requests left, so I like very quickly wrote something, and I was like, by the way, please don't collab with Hassan.
Time to even say something. Tell you the truth, the last 3 weeks I've been winging it. So I'm very grateful for the helping hand. All right, all the best. Thanks for reaching out. Bye.
I don't think it's like that. He said yesterday there is still something happening in April.
$9.99. John, you should continue. You should reconsider doing Hassan.
385 messages. 385 messages since 11. What the fuck are y'all doing in Discord? Holy shit. They're fucking retarded in that Discord.
Pikers, your audiences overlap more than people think, especially on U.S. foreign policy, propaganda, censorship, and corruption. Why not do it?
I have an idea about Hassan Piker and his show, as well as two other kind of controversial, young, successful broadcasters. I have an idea, and we may do something all together in April.
Yeah, I
He
fucking
begins, of
needed
course,
that
by
shit
saying,
too, bro.
who cares if I can interview this guy or not? Who cares if I'm going to...
Like, dead ass, bro. There was one night where I was just annoyed as shit and like laying in bed, and all I heard was just the constant bleep, 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 bleep of fucking Discord notifications. And I shit you not, I almost ripped my computer out of the fucking wall, bro. Like, I was so fucking pissed off about it. Had to mute that shit.
interview John, while also saying how much he likes John, and even says that he was on Young Turks many years ago and that he basically commends him for all of his work. But now, of course, if he can't interview him, well, who cares? Obviously, Hassan cares, and he also tries to once again paint the narrative that it didn't work like that. You know, the cameo and all this stuff, it doesn't work like that, you know? He has private communications with John that doesn't represent, or the public narrative doesn't represent what's going on behind the scenes and yada, yada, yada. But he also says there's something still going on in April, and John does confirm that there is something, but it's different than what Hassan was expecting, and he mentions that he wants to do this with Hassan and two controversial young broadcasters, and people have been pointing out some select targets to fit that narrative. And boy howdy, Sam Hyde and Asmongold would be quite the duo, right? I would, if this was a pay-per-view event.
And also, like, genuinely, when we started the whole Skybrows thing, like, I didn't think it would get this big. Like, I didn't think it was gonna be fucking gigantic, right? The fact that we absorbed, like, hundreds of people right off the bat was just, like, fucking ridiculous.
I would pay for a ticket to watch this. That would be the funniest thing ever, but, you know, it's not gonna...
I know that it's, like, an exaggeration. I think there's only, like, fucking, like, 80 or something of us in the Discord. I don't know. I haven't seen the official number.
Gonna happen, obviously, but a man can dream. A man can dream. But that is the pure copium, right, ladies and gentlemen? So let's move on to the final stage. Stage 3.
I haven't.
The Seethe.
And I think these guys, they get off on...
I didn't even think it would be like 30 of us, bro. I thought we would like selectively invite people, right? Like I thought it was going to be like no more than like maybe like 10, 15, maybe like 20 of us, and we were all going to like work as a team to produce shit. But like, yeah, it just kind of like grew into a giant bonfire instead of like a campfire. I'm not complaining, by the way. Like, I love exactly what's happened. Like, it's fucking amazing. Hey, Psychro sent you. Tell him what's up when you see him next, or I'll tell him when I see him next. We tend to rub elbows often.
They get off on trying to like secure these kinds of like weird victories for themselves.
No, like the Skybrows community is fucking amazing. There's so much creativity and talent. Like we have the potential to like do crazy shit. Like we could push the culture like an entirely different direction if we fucking wanted to. We wield a lot of power right now. It's unfocused and unmitigated, but we have a lot of fucking power right now.
But I think they're just doing clout goblin shit for the most part, and that's it. I don't know why people are so... I guess they're so excited at the prospect of like fucking up an interview, but like I interview people all the time.
Yeah, Hassan is totally not seething, as he reminds you just how mad he isn't, because he's not mad. These people are relevant.
we have some big players in our fucking Discord, man. Like Sky himself has a lot of fucking eyes on him in his own personal channel. People like him and Louisverse have been getting mentioned offhandedly in like AI technology roundup videos and stuff. Like there's a lot of attention on us, and like I said, we wield a lot of power. we don't have anything to channel it through yet, like in my opinion, but like we will soon.
And all they're trying to do is secure some sort of a weird victory for themselves. Well, right now it seems like a very funny victory. I mean, number one, it did disrupt the initial plans for the collaboration, and now we're left with basically option number two that seems like it's in the control of John and the two controversial young broadcasters he wants to bring in, which could really mix things up and put Hassan in a pretty tough position where he doesn't know who these two people are, and it could really sabotage his plans for any sort of a collaboration. But of course, he continues on by insinuating Pippa or anyone like her are clout goblins, that this is all just clout goblin stuff, which is really funny because all she did was fill out a cameo and offhand mention it on a stream, and it was so effective that it worked. Just a simple little mention like that in a cameo made this guy examine Hassan and rethink how he wanted to approach things. But yeah, I guess people are excited about potentially messing up an interview that Hassan had. Yeah, people laugh when someone like Hassan gets what he deserves. When something gets in the way of his initial plans, yeah, people are going to get some sort of a joy out of it. That's not surprising. Seeing an unlikable person get obliterated by the actions of a much more likable person, yeah, it's a great narrative. It's one people can get behind. It's one people like, and I'm sure you guys watching this overwhelmingly enjoy. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. 07, big salute to the patriotic VTuber Pippa for securing
this man really
yet
said
another
07.
victory and a Hassan crash out in the process. But make sure to leave your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. You know, I keep hearing so many big brain foreign policy analysts, you know, all these armchair quarterbacks, these sudden experts on anything and everything Iran. They all seem to be saying the same talking points, essentially verbatim. And the latest talking point that you're going to see in order to demonize and delegitimize the president is that actually he's the bad actor. Iran is the good guy. The Iranian regime, they were engaging diplomatically. Talks were progressing. They were showing up for negotiations. And then Trump, in the middle of negotiations, just hit them hard. That, of course, signals that he's the bad guy, and they're just the innocent victims defending their sovereignty against American imperialism. You know, some sort of left-wing narrative as such. But this, my friends, is such #1 bullshit. It's not even funny. This implication that, you know, we were in good faith negotiations with these Islamists, as if everything would have just magically worked itself out because they're such logical and rational people, very prone to compromise. This is nonsense. And it's been nothing but decades of delay tactics, decades of pretending to show up while covering up your true intentions, chasing a nuclear weapon behind the scenes, knowing that, of course, would be the ultimate trump card. All of a sudden, we can't make a move on Iran because the response could be nuclear Armageddon. But anyways, this notion, this idea I keep hearing people bring up, that Iran was, quote, negotiating, well, that falls apart today as we're getting some insider information regarding the actual details of these said negotiations, these discussions with the Iranians before Operation Epic Fury was a go. And while it appears the negotiations themselves may have actually been an important pretext factor in terms of deciding to actually launch this operation, let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I got a clip here from Steve Witkoff. He's giving us some key insights into the so-called meetings that Iran was having ahead of this conflict escalation. Take a look.
They opened up with telling us that they had the inalienable right to enrich, to which we responded that from President Trump that we had the inalienable right to stop them from enriching. But they opened up by challenging us. Their next statement to us was that they had 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium. 60% enriched uranium would take a week, maybe 10 days at the outside, to bring up to 90% weapons grade. So it was a clear threat. They were boasting about having it, and they said that that was going to be something that was going to be very valuable. At the same time that they were attesting to wanting nuclear for civil purposes. There is no reason whatsoever to be enriching past 20% unless you're going for a weapon. And then finally, and this was all in the beginning meeting, they said to us, and this was some challenge, you're not going to get from us diplomatically what you could not achieve militarily. Now, yes, we had destroyed their three main enrichment and conversion centers, Natanz, Esfahan, and Fordow. That was clear. They, of course, didn't want to admit it. But think about the notion of beginning a negotiation by saying we would not be able to get diplomatically what we couldn't achieve militarily. We did achieve militarily, but they were basically saying that we didn't, and they weren't going to give it to us anyway.
So apparently, during the negotiations, and of course you could imagine the entire premise of these negotiations surrounds the concept of nuclear proliferation, well, apparently you had Iranian representatives going to these meetings boasting about having enriched uranium to 60% during the negotiations themselves. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Maduro taunting President Trump, dancing, saying, come get me, then 24 hours later the guy was gone. You know, it's a similar situation of stupid now, isn't it? It's absolutely friggin' idiotic. Oh, they were engaging in negotiations. Yeah, it doesn't appear as though they were doing that in good faith now, is it? Showing up to the frickin' negotiations saying, oh, we are enriching uranium at 60+%. What are you going to do, President Trump? And well, I guess they got the frickin' answer now, didn't they? Absolute decimation of your entire despot regime. You know, at some point, the breaking point comes, and it appears President Trump had decided that we had reached that point. And all this tough talk from Iran, of course, especially ahead of the strikes. And now, well, it appears their morale is collapsing at an astonishing rate. I think they woke up and realized just how unfit they were for this fight. I guess time to transition to the next talking point, right? The first talking point is that Trump was wrong to strike them in mid-negotiation. And another talking point that we hear all the time is that this conflict is going to go on forever. Iran can sustain this for the next multiple decades if necessary. They're not feeling the pressure whatsoever. In fact, they're not even signaling any willingness for negotiations or discussion. No, they're ready to escalate this thing. This, of course, comes after President Trump suggested many times that the Iranian regime is now begging for negotiations. And CNN, of course, is perfectly willing to push this little piece of propaganda.
President Trump telling Fox News something that may have suggested he's willing to actually.
I honestly just wish they would fucking package this shit up. Like, this is like the most annoying fucking shit to follow.
Talk to Iranian leaders. He said, quote, I'm hearing they want to talk badly. It's possible. Depends on what terms. This is sort of, in a sense, a classic thing for Trump to say. Out front now is Syed Hussein Mousavian. He is a former Iranian nuclear negotiator. He has been speaking to contacts inside Iran. Syed, you have been on the inside of this many, many times. What are you hearing now about the Iranian government and those in power? Do they have a desire to talk to the United States right now?
I really don't see any desire on the Iranian side to talk with the U.S. The reason is that the both military strike by the U.S. and Israel in 2025, 2026 occurred when the nuclear negotiators achieved significant progress. Diplomacy was doing well. Suddenly the U.S. and Israel, they decided to attack Iran. Therefore, Iranians now, they believe the U.S. has been using diplomacy as a tool to deceive Iran, and the main purpose has been war, regime change, and the total collapse of Iran. That's why they don't show any readiness as of now.
Yeah, they're referring to a former Iranian official and reporting that as a verifiable fact. And really, I find it's a familiar pattern. You know, anytime there's a development that contradicts the dominant narrative that Trump is pushing forward, suddenly you got all these anonymous officials and former officials popping up out of nowhere and just
It honestly is. Like, almost everything you hear about it is fucking, like, fake and gay, bro. Like, it's just all bullshit. Everybody's fucking talking bullshit.
pushing foreign propaganda. We saw this during tariff talks, right? How Trump was applying so much pressure on the Chinese regime, and CNN and all these other left-wing hack networks were totally willing to push the CPC propaganda hook, line, and sinker without question. China isn't moving an inch.
The thing is like even the shit that we're fucking saying is like kind of bullshit too. Like, you know, like the whole thing about like the school bombing, like the whole original thing was that it was like just false, and then like it turned out to be fucking true. It's fucking dumb.
To negotiate. Meanwhile, what was the truth? They were secretly sending economic envoys to meet with Scott Bessent at the Treasury. Well, now they're pushing the same thing, as if Iran isn't flinching, not even an inch. But think about that for a second. They're getting completely decimated. I mean, unlike we've ever seen before. Their leaders don't even exist. They're hiding in the frickin' mountains like little rodents, in little caves. You mean to tell me they're not showing even an inch of willingness to negotiate? They don't want to get out of this situation? Give me a frickin' break. It just doesn't make sense. And then, of course, we got this post from the Iranian president, the president himself, Mr. Masoud Pezeshkian again. Well, he just wrote this. He's reaffirming Iran's commitment to peace. Talking to leaders of Russia and Pakistan, I reaffirmed Iran's commitment to peace in the region. The only way to end this war ignited by the Zionist regime in the U.S. is recognizing Iran's legitimate rights, payment of reparations, and firm international guarantees against future aggression. You know, of course, it's again this doublespeak stuff that we see from these propagandist clowns. He's trying to pretend as if he's demanding, but really what he's doing here is begging for, you know, mercy. Please, please recognize our legitimate rights. Rights to what? Further threaten us? Further slaughter young people in your streets? How about absolutely never? And I'll suggest that America, as the leader of the free world, has the first right of refusal here, and we emphatically refuse legitimate rights. Right to what? Your illegitimate government? To continue existing as a threat to the peaceful world order? And secondly, payments of reparations. Give me a frickin' break. But the last demand, I think, is the most telling. It shows how weak and pathetic they are right now. Firm international guarantees against future aggression. They're now begging for mercy. And you mean to tell me the president's speaking like this, and meanwhile there's nothing happening in the back channels, requesting to have a sit down with the Trump administration? It feels almost impossible. Honestly, at this point, I'm convinced that Trump is telling the truth. They're probably begging to negotiate, and the Trump response is likely too little too late. You had your chance. Now we're...
I'll say it again. I think Trump should just shave his head, bro. I think he would look fucking hard as fuck if he shaved his head.
Past the point of no return. The top general of the military has essentially declared it's on, and now the Iranians have to deal with the failure of their diplomacy. What else can be said? But it gives us more insight into the dynamic. Again, we're not dealing with a legitimate government here. We're dealing with a death cult that frankly had this coming. And to show up at negotiations and flaunt the fact that you're enriching uranium when that is the #1 issue, to poke the bear, and in this case, not just any bear, the Trump bear. He's a 1-ton frickin' grizzly bear. You're not dealing with sleepy, creepy, piss pants Joe Biden here. To poke the bear the way that they did, what can I say other than they're stupid? I mean, just stupid. To be attacking neighboring Arab nations, as they're still doing, by the way, that and everything else, they're just so frickin' stupid. And in my view, they're getting what was coming to them. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
So this guy's trying to drive a car into
Yeah, that would be neat. Bald Trump would bring world peace. But all right, thanks for coming out, guys. I got to end stream early today. I got a little bit of running around to do after I go get my wife. I'll probably come back later and play some WoW. I really do want to come back later and play some WoW. So like I'm probably gonna actually this time. I gotta abruptly end stream now. I appreciate you guys coming out.